Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome here as we continue on the playoffs in Season 2 of the NNSCRA Duracell Cup Series. This is chase race number 5, overall race number 31, and race number 2 of round 2 of our round of 12. This is the midway point, and up to this point, none of the remaining 12 playoff contenders have locked themselves spots into the round of 8. As last week at Hillside, we saw Matt McIntyre go to victory lane. Matt had already been eliminated from the playoffs after round 1, so a non-playoff driver winning. All 12 drivers are still eligible to make their way in via win or points-wise into the round of 8. And no doubt about it as well, Hillside definitely played a factor and set us up with some interesting scenarios coming into today's race at Lime Rock. Lime Rock has always been a very exciting racetrack. I remember last year it actually played a huge factor into who was going to make it into the round of 8 and who was not, and I'm expecting no less this season. A lot of times, too, we end up having a couple of early cautions, and then after that, we get into a long green flag run, and this racetrack, more often than not, brings about fuel strategy in the closing stages, so we'll see if that's going to be the case in this one. On the pole position for this race, how about Matt McIntyre? I mean, ever since getting eliminated from the playoffs, he's got a win last week at Hillside, and now he's got a pole position here at Lime Rock. As a matter of fact, kind of ironic, the top 2 finishes last week at Hillside, Matt McIntyre won, Carson Gum finished second. P1 and P2 is where they start today's race, so they're picking up where they left off last week, as they will be the front row. Carson Gum going to be the highest starter of the playoff contenders as well, starting from second. Carson comes into this race as well as the overall points leader of those 12 remaining playoff contenders. He currently comes into this race with a 30-point gap back to the cut line driver, which right now would be in 8th place, and that is Cody Lamas, who, ironically enough, starts right on his back bumper on the outside of row 2. So Cody Lamas in the little bit of the precipice area right now. He could either have a good run and move away from that cut line, or he could have a bad performance and find himself down into the danger zone heading into next week elimination race at Arizona. Not a whole lot of our playoff contenders starting up here near the front. I believe that Gum and Lamas are the only 2 starting up inside of the top 10, so the rest of the playoff contenders going to have to fight their way from mid-pack and some from the very rear of the field. I see a lot of our contenders back in the final few rows. I see Levi McIntyre back there. I think Carter Friesen's back there, as well as Dylan Young, Benjamin Miles, Ryan Acosta, and Cole Baker. So it's going to be a dogfight at the rear of the field of drivers trying to pick up positions during the course of this race. Without further ado, let's go down trackside, get those most famous words in motorsports as we get ready to go green in the Shady Glen 355.
Drivers, start your engines.
So as the command is given and you check the right side of your screen, it will show you the 40-car starting lineup for today's race. Let's give you what the playoff standings look like coming into this one. Right now, we mentioned Carson Gum with that runner-up finish last week at Hillside. He is currently the points leader, 1 point in hand over Michael Norman, but the place that we're definitely focusing on is 8th in the standings where Cody Lamas currently sits. So Carson Gum right now with a 30-point gap between himself and 8th in the standings. Michael Norman second in the points. He's 29 points ahead of the cut line. Cole Baker's third in the standings. He, of course, had those 5 bonus points for this round with his win back in round 1. He is 20 points ahead of 8th in the standings. Only 19 points ahead of the cut line is Carter Friesen in 4th. 5th in the standings is Levi McIntyre. He's 11 points ahead of the cut line. Dylan Young right now in 6th. He is 8 points ahead of the cut line. 7th in points is Johnny Gardner. He's 3 points ahead of 8th place. And right now in the 8th position, as we mentioned, is Cody Lamas in the 84. As far as the drivers that would be in the danger zone coming into this race, make that 9th in points rather, is Benjamin Miles. He's only 4 points behind 8th in the standings. 5 points back in 10th rather, is Ryan Acosta. Zach Rogers currently is 11th in the points. He's only 6 points behind 8th in the standings. And only 9 points back is Ryan Brommer, who sits 12th of the playoff contenders. So it is not over by any long shot. You've only got a couple of drivers that are about 10 plus points ahead of the 84 of Cody Lamas, and then all 4 of the elimination drivers right now are less than 10 points behind him. So no doubt, depending on what happens here today, definitely could be a huge points shakeup heading into our second elimination race next week at Arizona. 25 laps of racing here today at Lime Rock, running the CTS 2019 rules package. And we'll see just exactly who's going to survive and who does not. I think if you're someone like Lamas, Miles, Acosta, Rogers, Brummer, you cannot afford a bad run today, or else you could find yourself in a must-win situation heading into Arizona next week. But here we go. They finished first and second last week, taking the checkered flag at Hillside. They will start first and second, taking the green flag to start the race here today at Lime Rock, as the flagman puts the green flag. Boy, he really likes to stretch this out. Here we go. Flag is in the air. We're racing here at Lime Rock. Let's roll. See how much of a fight Carson Gumb's going to put up to try and get the race lead away from Matt McIntyre. These first few corners kind of favor Carson Gumb, but then this set of corners here favor the 7 of Matt McIntyre. It's like Matt might, well, I thought he was going to try and drive it deep into that corner to clear Carson Gumb, but not quite going to be able to do it this time, as Carson still hangs tough on the outside line. Got a little off course there, though, with his left sides. That gave Matt better straightaway speed. And it looks like Matt McIntyre will take the position. That'll drop Carson Gumb back into a battle for second with his rookie teammate Marcus Sacchi in the 21. Marcus Sacchi going to tuck in line now as Carson Gumb will slot into second place. And we've completed the first lap, amazingly enough, under green. So now the best battle is going to be for second place. Carson Gumb has it. Marcus Sacchi wants it. Carson Gumb tried to get the race lead away from Matt McIntyre, but that straightaway was what was the advantage for the 7 car, going down into the hard right-hander for the downhill section, then towards the straightaway and the start-finish line. If we had run the configuration that originally was run here, which was the dogleg right there on this straightaway, Carson Gumb might have had a little bit more of an advantage on Matt McIntyre, but the dogleg not used lately. We didn't use the dogleg last year either, and so that allowed for Matt McIntyre from the pole to still hang on to the race lead. Carson Gumb, though, saw him get that run there on the straightaway. That's because of the CTS physics. The draft works on these straightaways. And now he's all over the back bumper of Matt McIntyre for the race lead yet again. Marcus Sacchi right there as well. You could throw a blanket over the top 3. Got a good battle back here for 4th between Vince Salmriego in the 42. Trey Wright in the 28. I should also mention as well, we're going to have a different winner here at Lime Rock. The defending winner of this race, Diego Yepes, not in the field this season. So there will be a different winner here at Lime Rock Raceway in Season 2. Looks like Trey Wright will complete the pass for 4th on Vince Salmriego. Adam Garcia starting to close in. He's in 6th, trying to close into the top 5. Wyatt Quayle there in the 7th spot. Benny Watson had a top 10 run last week. He is now up to 22nd in points, so his finishes have gotten a little better in the last couple of weeks, but still a lot of work to do. And we mentioned about Cody Lama starting the race from the 4th position. He has since then dropped all the way back to the 13th position. And he's about to fall into the clutches of a couple of playoff contenders, Ryan Brommer in the 9, Carter Friesen in the 37. You can bet Ryan Brommer definitely looked at this race as an opportunity. Last week finished dead last at Hillside. The fortunate thing for him was a lot of other playoff contenders had issues as well, but right now he is 12th of the 12 playoff contenders. But bear in mind, Ryan Brommer made his way into the playoffs because of a road course win earlier on this season at Sonoma. So you can definitely bet coming to a road course here, maybe put a bit of a smile on his face, knowing that this was a track he could maybe bounce back from that DNF he suffered last week. There is Carter Friesen, just crossed the line in the 15th position. Friesen coming into this one 4th overall of the playoff contenders, 19 points ahead of the cut line. So right now with where he's running, looks like he's in very good shape. Right behind him, Ryan Butcher. Both Ryan Butcher and Casey Nanico, the finishes for that team have been off the charts the last couple of weeks, really ever since Casey Nanico got his win in the regular season finale at Auto Club, and then Ryan Butcher followed it up with his own win this season at the Coca-Cola Super Speedway. Nanico has moved out of the top 30 in points up to 28th in the standings. Ryan Butcher, on the other hand, He was also outside of the top 30 in points as we got a wreck. Oh, I wasn't even looking at the screen as Carter Friesen just got spun off the nose of Ryan Butcher, and there goes Jack Mitchell collected as well. Everyone trying to dart their way through. I think everybody else gets through it. And Carter Friesen, playoff contender, is involved in our first caution of the day. Jack Mitchell collected up as well. I didn't call it live because I wasn't even looking at the screen at the time. I was looking at the point standings. Then I looked back and I saw the 37 around off the nose of Ryan Butcher, and our first caution of the day is out, and Carson Gum just took the lead away from Matt McIntyre as they are racing back to the yellow flag here. Carson Gum's going to be the leader under this caution. But going back to Ryan Butcher, I was going to say he was also outside the top 30 in points, and he's now up to 25th in the standings. And that is not good for Carter Friesen. He took a shot there from Jack Mitchell, who is on pit road. I think Friesen continued. Well, then again, maybe not. No, I guess he went to pit road as well. There's also damage on Jesse Turner's car. The right and front of that machine all mangled up. I don't think I saw him get involved in the wreck with Friesen and Mitchell, but then again, maybe he did, or maybe he was involved in a wreck that did not bring out the yellow. It is a road course, so it is NNSCRA officials' discretion whether or not it is worthy of throwing a caution or not. But I think they definitely had to throw a caution for what we saw between Butcher, Friesen, and Mitchell, because those cars swept right back up into the racing line. But Carson Gunn, the race leader here under our first caution of the day. Let's go back and see what happened, and then we'll document if these drivers decide to come to pit road here under this yellow flag. Well, this was back on lap 4, but this did not bring out the yellow because it was at the very tail end of the field. Jesse Turner and Cole Baker running in 39th and 40th at the time, and it's really tough to see with the camera angles here, but you can just see it looks like either the 47 came down across the nose of Cole Baker, or Baker kind of got tight there on that corner and went up into Turner's left rear quarter panel. Look at how all the air time the 47 got. I mean, that car was up in the air for a good maybe 2, 3, 4 seconds before it finally came down. You can see how the right side skirt dug into the grass, and that's what just completely ripped up the whole right side of that machine. Let's take another camera angle at this. Again, with that tunnel they go through, it's going to be difficult to see the initial contact. Looks like actually it was Jesse Turner getting off the course a little there. I think his left sides went over the rumble strip, and then when he came back onto the track, Cole Baker was already there. But take a look from this angle. Look at the air the 47 gets. You could just see the height of that race car. And then he comes back down on all 4 wheels. Fortunately enough for him, he was able to continue on, but a lot of damage on the right side of that machine with the impact of landing from that height. So that did not bring out the caution, however. Now let's see what happened between Ryan Butcher and Carter Friesen that did. And again, almost same deal as we saw with the earlier wreck between Turner and Baker. You see Cody Lamas gets off course, Carter Friesen gets off course, and I have a feeling, we can't really see it, but I have a feeling Carter Friesen came back on track and Ryan Butcher was already there. Now you can see those two did not quite go onto the crest of that hill, so neither one of them got a lot of air time, but watch as Carter Friesen slides. We're coming into a right-hander, and Friesen's car comes back right up in front of traffic and nowhere for Jack Mitchell in that 0-1 to go. Talked about the fact of, Ryan Butcher and Casey Nanico having good runs the last couple of weeks. Benny Watson, well, the guy that's really been struggling the last couple of weeks has been that 0-1 of Jack Mitchell. He has not been able to afford a good run, it seems, the last couple of weeks. And Carter Friesen, that shot, you can see he has not refired the car. He might be out of this race. And if that is the case, that is a tough, tough break for a playoff contender who could find himself in a little bit of a hairy situation heading into Arizona next week. This is not live, this is on replay because the field has already hit pit road, but you can see everybody making pit stops. So everybody taking the opportunity here under yellow to come to pit lane. I believe everybody's going to go with 4-tire pit stop. Yes, they are. So apparently tire wear, a big factor here. We saw a number of drivers running off course, having trouble with grip. Carson Gum, his team gets it done. He's going to leave pit road the leader. Looks like Trey Wright's going to come out in second, with Marcus Sachi and Matt McIntyre, your top 4. So that is the pit stops here. Everyone came to pit road. Nobody stayed out. And now let's head back for the green flag to get this race back underway. Lights are out atop the pace car. One thing about road courses is normally when the caution comes out, they race back, pace car picks them up, pit roads open the following lap, and then we hit the 1 to green. So a lot of racing under green flag conditions more than multiple pace laps. So Carson Gum is the leader, Trey Wright second. I thought Marcus Sacchi beat Matt McIntyre off pit road for third, but nope, the scoring said Matt McIntyre got P3, so he'll be third. Fourth place is going to be Marcus Sacchi, and completing your top 5 will be Adam Garcia. Then it's Wyatt Quayle, Ben Sammarego, Benny Watson, Kyle Matthews, and Matthew Rodriguez. That's going to be your top 10. The scoring monitor will not state that. It currently is scoring everybody where they cross the start-finish line on pit road the last lap. It'll update itself when they get back to the start-finish line. One thing it doesn't have to update are the drivers out of the race at this point. Jack Mitchell going to finish in 39th, and Carter Friesen, who came into this race in a pretty good spot in the point standings, might find himself in a little bit of a critical situation. After this one, he's going to finish in dead last. Levi McIntyre still sitting on pit road. I just noticed that on the scoring. He is still on the lead lap, but I don't know why he is still sitting there. And that's not good for him either. He came into this race 5th in the point standings, so 4th and 5th in points, having some difficulties early here at Lime Rock, and it looks like Levi is going to go at least 1 lap down as Carson Gum and the rest of the leaders bypass him, coming down to receive the green flag on lap 9 of 25. So, with this caution coming out, and them all being able to come to pit road on lap 7, can they make it 18 laps on fuel, or will we see drivers on pit road before this race is over? We saw in the first round of the playoffs, the road course stop, Charlotte Roval, which was right in the middle of round 1. We saw Cole Baker utilize fuel strategy to pick up the victory. That locked him into this round of 12. Will we see a playoff contender use road course strategy here today, as Trey Wright not going to let Carson Gum get away? He took a peek there, heading into the backstretch, and he is still there all over the back bumper of his Toontown rewritten Chevrolet. Now Carson gaps him a little bit, but we talked about last week how Matt McIntyre got eliminated from the playoffs, but was able to bounce back, get himself a victory at Hillside. Well, Trey Wright also was eliminated in the first round of the playoffs, so he would like to find victory lane for a second time this season. I really want to watch that battle for the lead, but we also got a good 4-way battle for third place. Marcus Sacchi, Matt McIntyre, Adam Garcia, and Wyatt Quayle in this mix. Looks like Marcus Sacchi going to clear there. The battle will now be for 4th between Garcia and McIntyre. As again, Trey Wright looks to the inside, but he just can't quite get to the left rear quarter panel through that particular corner heading onto the backstretch. If he could, I think he might have Carson Gum down there into this right-hander, especially here on the long downhill right-hander. See if he can get a run here on the straightaway, on the front stretch, as it looks like Levi McIntyre has returned back to the racing surface. Yes, he has, but he is 1 lap down, I believe, maybe 2 laps down. We'll check that in a moment, in the 38th position. Not what he needed, so apparently it was, I'm assuming, some kind of a mechanical issue. They had to keep him on pit road a little bit longer. The bad news for him is only one other playoff driver has had an issue today, and that's Carter Friesen, who currently is out of this race. Let's look at the back of the pack, see if there's any other playoff drivers struggling. And you've got a couple of them back here, actually quite a few. Johnny Gardner there in the 14, Ryan Acosta in the 10, Cole Baker in the 11. The driver right now that I would be the most worried about would be Ryan Acosta, because he came into this race 10th in the point standings, in an elimination spot. So he's got some spots he has to pick up. Johnny Gardner came into this race just 3 points ahead of Cody Lamas. So not exactly a position he wants to be in either. Michael Norman crossed the line in 28th, but he came in 2nd in points, so he can afford a little bit of a bad performance. There's Sean Galligan back in the 25. Did not have the run he was looking for at Charlotte Roval, but he's back here in the road course race car here, 24th where he runs right now. There's Benjamin Miles right now in the 23rd position. He was 9th in the point standings coming into this one, 4 points behind Cody Lamas, and he's about to close in on Cody in just a moment. Cody not too far ahead, just ahead of Zach Rogers there in the 6th. Zach coming into this one 11th in the playoff points, 6 points behind Cody Lamas. And he's got Cody in his sights just in front of him as Cody runs in 19th. There's Dylan Young. Finished off the lead lap last week, but I think he finished like 22nd, 23rd, something like that. So at least making a little bit of a good thing out of a bad situation. As right now he is inside of the top 20, and he was 6th overall in the points coming to this one. Only 8 points ahead of that 8th in the standings cut line. And there's Ryan Brommer still foraging ahead. He just took the 12th position away from Alexander Rose, so he's closing in on getting into the top 10. Carson Gum just got passed for the lead, apparently. Trey Wright got around him, and Carson has now fallen all the way back to 5th place. So now Trey Wright out in front, Marcus Sacchi into 2nd, then Adam Garcia and Wyatt Quayle 3rd and 4th, with Gum now slotted back to 5th. So all of a sudden the handling on that machine going away, as now Kyle Matthews starting to close in there. 6th place run right now for the Mellow Yellow Chevrolet. And he's trying to crack the top 5. Battle maybe heating up for the lead. Rookie Marcus Sacchi trying to get by the 28 of Trey Wright. As we are now past the halfway point here at Lime Rock. Remember, everybody came to pit road back on lap 7. We don't know what the length is these drivers can go on 1 tank of fuel, so we could see these drivers back on pit road somewhere maybe within the next 5 to 7 laps. Gotta wonder if there's anybody in the back of the pack that might be saving to maybe stay out and sneak away a win. Someone we haven't even talked about today, perhaps. Trey Wright coming into this one. Former winner this season at the 2nd race of the year at Manassas. He's a 2-time winner in the Duracell Cup Series. His first career win came at the dirt track last year of Lakewood. And now trying to be a multi-time winner this season as he got a little wide in that corner that opened up the door. Here comes Marcus Sacchi for the lead. Marcus Sacchi 24th in the point standings coming into this one. And you can see right there, the 28 got off course a little. Marcus Sacchi kept his foot in it, and I think he's going to clear him here into this right-hander. He will. New leader, 21. And that battle that went on there for the lead allowed Adam Garcia and Wyatt Quayle to start closing in. 3rd and 4th place. We got a car on pit road. That's the 38 of Jordan Lopez. And the caution flag is out. Caution comes out. I believe we're racing back. We'll follow this battle here for the 5th position between Carson Gum and Kyle Matthews. I'm pretty sure the race leader had already crossed the line before that yellow flag came out. 2nd caution of the day, and now I have a feeling that this yellow flag may put everybody now in their fuel window. Looked like Jordan Lopez looked like that was a regularly scheduled stop for the 38. That might have been what would have been the start of green flag pit stops, but this yellow flag is going to basically negate that entire scenario. And Marcus Sacchi is going to lead them out of the final corner, lead them to the start-finish line. There's another car on pit road, and if my eyes don't deceive me, I think that's a playoff contender, the 33 of Benjamin Miles. I also saw Jesse Turner back on pit road in the 47. But Benjamin Miles, who came into this race currently in an elimination position, 9th in the standings, pretty certain it was his number 33 I saw on pit road there. Johnny Gardner's got a lot more damage on the 14 as well, and if it was Benjamin Miles, he's already taken his car behind the wall because there was nobody on pit road when I just cycled through there. And I don't know where Jordan Lopez thinks he's going, unless he's able to be in line ahead of these drivers here. He is a lap down, though. They lapped him coming when that caution flew. So I don't know if he's just taking his place in line right now or what. But that is a lot of damage on Johnny Gardner's number 14. Boy, there's not a side of that race car that isn't damaged except the roof, the front, the left, the right, the rear, all mangled up. And I was trying to see as they went around the track to see just exactly where this could have happened, and I couldn't really see any set of skid marks. But we'll find out in just a moment. But first, we're going to stay here. We're going to stay live because I'm almost certain everybody's going to come to pit road. They should be able to make it the rest of the way on fuel now. So this is what we dub the money stop. You see those skid marks right there? I can't tell if that might have been where the wreck was in that sweeping downhill right-hander again, or if we're just seeing the skid marks from Carter Friesen and Jack Mitchell. And what the heck's going on here? I don't know why these guys aren't all pitting, but Mark Asachi, Trey Wright, they stay out. Adam Garcia, I think he might be the smartest man in the field right now coming to pit road. Is anybody else pitting? Kyle Matthews is pitting. Keith Batson, Benny Watson, Matthew Rodriguez. These right here, I think, are the smart people that are coming to pit road. The people that are staying out, I think they're going to have to come to pit road under green, unless they're banking on another yellow. A little contact there on pit road between Johnny Gardner and Dylan Young. I don't understand this strategy at all. I think we're going to see a lot of people either starting to run out of fuel or ducking onto pit road as soon as we go back green, unless these guys are able to save enough under pacing. But I don't know. I'm more in the camp of those guys that came to pit lane, to be perfectly honest with you. But then again, I'm not in the cockpit. I'm not the one with the driver helmet on. These guys are listening to their crew chiefs. They're strategizing, and they may know something that we don't know up here in the commentator's booth. But for now, let's go back and see what happened. At least 2 more playoff contenders, I'm pretty certain, involved in our second caution of the day, Benjamin Miles and Johnny Gardner. Let's go back and see what happened. Well, Johnny Gardner suffered the same effect as Jesse Turner. His wreck did not bring out the yellow. Contact between teammates here. Ryan Acosta to his inside, and we've seen this all race long. A driver getting off course there, comes back across the nose of somebody, and Johnny Gardner acts like he got just about as much air as Jesse Turner did. Jesse Turner taking a look out the right side of his race car saying, yep, been there, done that. And that's how Johnny Gardner got all that damage. Now, the tough break for Gardner, when Turner flew, his car landed with the right side of the car digging into the ground. Gardner landed with the front nose digging in, so there's going to be a lot more going wrong under the hood of his Hunt Brothers Pizza Toyota Camry. And we already mentioned about Gardner coming into this race only 3 points ahead of that 8th in the standings cut line. Definitely not what he needed. He was already running towards the rear of the field, and this certainly did not help matters. Well, this has certainly been the corner for wrecks here, and this one's going to be between Michael Norman and Benjamin Miles. I don't think Benjamin Miles even got off the course, actually, there. I think Michael Norman overdrove the corner, and you can see right there just the way that the camera jerked. Benjamin Miles actually hit the concrete area that holds that bridge overpass up. That is one of the hardest hits I think I've seen taken here at this racetrack. We're going to rewind it back, and you guys aren't going to see a whole lot of the 33 on this camera shot that we have, but you will see the impact. So here they are. They're racing there. There you see the contact. Now we're going to go to this camera angle here, the spectator cam. Watch the 33 up there. Right there. You can see the hit. That is concrete. That is a concrete block there holding up that overpass, and that is what Miles hit. I don't think that the NSA officials ever expected someone to hit or to spin into that area, which is why they've got the guardrail over on the left side rather than on the right as well. But they might have to look into that, because I have never seen a car hit a concrete wall like that. I don't exactly know how hard he hit it, how fast he was going. Let's see if we can follow the telemetry. At the time of impact, he was going almost 90 miles per hour. Imagine going down the highway at 90 miles per hour and you drive into a concrete wall. Now that car did hit, not head on, he did hit it, it looked like more with the right front, but you can just see how it mangled up that race car. Let's take an onboard to see how hard a hit it was. Riding on board with Benjamin Miles, let's listen to just how hard an impact this was, hitting a part of the track that I have never seen a car hit at Lime Rock. Oh, man. And then right here, that's a shot from Jesse Turner. So Turner got involved in the wreck as well. But you could just hear the impact there into that concrete wall. That is a scary, scary wreck for Benjamin Miles. And certainly not more importantly, because obviously we're worried about his well-being and his health after that hit. But this is definitely a side note as well. Benjamin Miles came into this race in an elimination spot. Will he be going into Arizona in a must-win situation? But certainly we're going to be waiting to hear the report from the Infield Care Center to make sure Benjamin Miles is all right. One of the scariest hits I've seen taken here at Lime Rock. Marcus Sachi going to be leading us back to green as his team decided to leave him out. As a matter of fact, the entirety of the top 10. All drivers that stayed out, as Trey Wright will line up in second. Third place, Wyatt Quayle. Fourth, Carson Gump. Fifth is Vince Almriego. Then Matt McIntyre, Ryan Brommer, Jose Mills, Ryan Butcher, Charles Sanford. That is your top 10. 11th, Jessica Shelton. 12th, Adam Garcia. He was the first car to come to pit road, so the top 11 stayed out. You've also got the lap machine of Levi McIntyre there, but this could be right here the guy that could inherit the race lead if these drivers here cannot make it on fuel. Update of the drivers involved in the wreck out of the race. Well, 2 more back behind the wall. Benjamin Miles will finish in 37th. That is his second straight DNF. And Jesse Turner will finish in 38th. So we'll have to wait and see where all the rest of the other playoff contenders finish, but I think Benjamin Miles is going to find himself in quite a bit of a predicament going into Arizona, and we have received word he has been released and checked from the Infield Care Center. He is okay, so that is definitely good news. And so now that we know that his health and well-being is, at least now that we know that he is okay, now we can focus on his point scenario. Definitely takes a back seat to the well-being of these drivers. There's no doubt about that. Everyone wants to win a championship, but we want to make sure that everybody is at 100% when they take the green as well. Green flag back in the air as Marcus Sacchi leads them into turn 1. Now, if my calculations are correct, there's one of two things that are going to happen right now. Either number 1, these drivers are going to run out of fuel in the closing stages, or number 2, they're banking on another caution flag to be able to come to pit road. Or number 3, we could throw this out here too. They may all hit pit road here on this next lap. But why would you pit under green when you had the opportunity to pit under caution? That's what I don't understand. I want to jump back here to Adam Garcia in that 12th position, because I think right here could potentially be your battle for the race lead. And right now it is going on between Garcia and Kyle Matthews. You've got another lap machine of Jordan Lopez separating them back to Keith Batson. All right, do they dive to pit road here, or do they stay out? They stayed out. Okay, so maybe that caution flag was enough for them to save fuel. I don't know. I really don't know, but I definitely am hoping we don't have another caution, because I'd love to see this thing play out to the end to see if these 11 drivers that did stay out, can they make it on fuel? A couple of them are playoff drivers making quite a gamble. Carson Gum there in the 3, Ryan Brommer as well in the 9. They did not come to pit lane, so they are basically banking on being able to make it on fuel to have a good points day, but if they have to come to pit road, that's going to be a lot of playoff drivers that did pit under the caution that are going to bypass them not only on track, but potentially in the point standings. I mean, if you're Carson Gum, you come into this one with a 30-point gap back to Cody Lamas, who right now seems to be struggling. Maybe it makes sense for you to take this kind of a gamble, but if I'm Ryan Brommer, I don't know. Then again, though, what does Ryan Brommer have to lose? He's dead last of the 12 playoff drivers right now in the standings. So, why not pull a Hail Mary? Battle is on for second. Wyatt Quayle to the inside of Trey Wright. How about the manufacturers up here? Chevy, Toyota, Ford, 1, 2, 3. Trey Wright has won earlier on this season at Manassas. Wyatt Quayle won the week after at Las Vegas. They're trying to chase down Marcus Sacchi, who's trying to get his first win of his Duracell Cup Series career, trying to also become, the 4th? Yes, the 4th. No. Yeah, the 4th. 4th different rookie to win this season. Cody Lamas, Casey Nanico, and Alexander Rowe have all been to victory lane already. Could hear him feathering the throttle in that downhill section. He may have shut the car off for a brief moment, let it coast down the hill. As Wyatt Quayle has cleared Trey Wright, he's now into the second position. Again, though, I want to keep an eye on back here just in case those other drivers cannot make it on fuel. Adam Garcia now in 11th. You got Kyle Matthews right there. Zach Rogers. If he can get up there past the 12 car, he would probably be the closest one to the front that right now we know can definitely make it on fuel. See some drivers here with some damage. Kyle Matthews, some right side damage. Benny Watson with some rear damage. I almost wonder if that's maybe some bumping and scraping that took place on pit road, perhaps. As Adam Garcia now all over the back bumper of Ryan Butcher. That is a battle, I believe, for the 8th spot. Actually, it would have been for 9th. And Charles Sanford's pitting. Sanford is on pit road, and he was one of those that stayed out. As the battle is on for the lead, Wyatt Quayle has run down Marcus Sacchi. Let's see if anybody else is on pit road. I think Jessica Shelton was on pit road a lap ago. Ryan Butcher's on pit lane now as well with Charles Sanford. These are all drivers that decided to stay out. They didn't get that caution they were looking for, as we've got about 2.5 laps remaining. So if you're Marcus Sacchi, if you're Wyatt Quayle, Trey Wright, Carson Gum, Matt McIntyre, you probably got to be a little bit worried right now. And if you're Adam Garcia, you've got to be loving what you're seeing at this point in time. Do Sacchi and Wyatt Quayle stay out? Looks like Wyatt Quayle might be pitting. He will from the second position. Carson Gum is in as well. Ryan Brommer has to pit. And there is maybe your battle for the lead between Garcia and Rogers, which right now is a battle for the 5th position. The top 4 still yet to pit. And Rogers making a move here on Adam Garcia. This could be your battle for the lead, potentially for the win. 2 laps to go. Marcus Sacchi, do you risk it? Do you try and stay out one more lap? If you're Trey Wright, do you stay out one more lap? If you're Matt McIntyre, do you go for back-to-back victories and stay out one more lap? Same for Vince Almriego. The tale will be told as they all exit out of this final corner. Let's see what happens. Does the 21 pit? Does he stay out? The white flag will be displayed this time if he stays out. And he will stay out. He's going to risk it. Why not? Trey Wright stays out as well. So do Almriego and Matt McIntyre. So now it's all down to how much fuel's in the tank for rookie Marcus Sacchi. Can he deliver the goods like FedEx? He's got about a 2-second gap back to Trey Wright, so if he has to half throttle, if he has to coast, if he has to clutch, he's got a little bit of breathing room to do so. Hear him get back up into the throttle there. I think he was coasting through those corners. I think Trey Wright might have been doing exactly the same thing, though. The car he has to worry about, Zach Rogers, is almost 7 seconds back, so Marcus Sacchi coming to the downhill, he can shut the car off and coast. Marcus Sacchi looking for his first career win, trying to become the 4th rookie to go to victory lane this season. Out of the final corner, back to the throttle. He had enough fuel to make it. And Marcus Sacchi is going to win the Shady Glen 355 at Lime Rock. Big win for Marcus Sacchi, who the last couple of weeks has really been struggling. You go back to last week, Marcus Sacchi finished with a DNF, and at the time that he DNF'd was running in 6th. He got caught up in a wreck when the leaders caught a driver that was stuck on the apron at Hillside. Was en route to a top 10 finish and finished behind the wall. Sweet redemption 1 week later. He'll get the victory. It is the 3rd win overall for Team Chevy Autosport, first of his Duracell Cup Series career, and it is the 5th win this season to be taken by a driver with yellow stripes on the back bumper. And I think he just might, well, nope, I thought he might have enough fuel to get to pit road, and you can see right there, that car is out of fuel. Trey Wright, I believe, may also be out of fuel in the 28 car. And we had a number of drivers not able to make it on fuel, and that shuffled up the finishing results of our top 10 for sure. But the top 4 were able to make it on fuel, and all 4 of them were non-playoff drivers. It's like he's going to be able to coast to pit road. His team might have to push him to victory lane, but what a gutsy call by the rookie Marcus Sacchi to pick up the win here today at Lime Rock. What a great race. A lot of passing all the way through the field. A lot of great battling for the lead as well. As Trey Wright, Marcus Sacchi all took turns out in front with Carson Gum and Matt McIntyre. Trey Wright's going to finish the day out in 2nd. Vince Almriego 3rd. Matt McIntyre in 4th. Those were the 4 that were able to make it on fuel and get top 5s as a result, as the standings are now complete. Zach Rogers, highest finishing playoff contender. I think he was hoping and praying those other 4 drivers would run out of fuel, because if he had won today, he'd have been locked automatically into the round of 8. But still, a very good points day for him. Came into this one 6 points behind the 8th in the standings cut line. He will undoubtedly, I'm certain, climb up into the top 8 now. with that top 5 run. Adam Garcia will finish the day out in 6th. Matthew Rodriguez, back-to-back top 10 finishes for him as he'll get 7th. How about Dylan Young? We didn't really talk a whole lot about him, except when we saw him at the very rear of the field. Well, Dylan Young, I believe, started this race from 42nd, and he finished the day out in 8th. So a great run for him, as he will probably stay in the top 8 in the standings. How about Sean Galligan? I think that's the best finish that since the whole program of putting different drivers in the 25 car, I think that's the best finish that the 25 team has gotten here during the playoffs, as he'll bring it home in 9th. And Austin LaPlante continues his consistent runs. He'll finish the day out in 10th. Benny Watson brings it home in 11th. How about Cody Lamas? That was a great run there for Cody in 12th, as we saw him mid-pack for most of the race. So I think this will put him at least up into the top 8 for the moment. Cole Baker's going to bring it home in 13th, so another solid outing for him. He came into this race 3rd overall in the points, so I think he'll still be in the top 8. Derek Campbell, Sebastian Kukula, and the rest of your top 15. Ryan Acosta's going to finish in 17th. Now, we know that he's going to finish ahead of Benjamin Miles, but I don't think he's going to be ahead of Zach Rogers in the points. So I think the driver he'd be focused on right now trying to pass in the standings would be Johnny Gardner, and he came into this one 13 points behind Gardner, I think it was. Nope, hold on, that was incorrect. He was 8 points behind Gardner, and Gardner finished down in the 25th position, damaging off the pace. So right now, as things stand, I believe right now in the 8 positions, it would be Carson Gum, Michael Norman, Cole Baker, maybe Carter Friesen. Remember, he suffered a DNF today, though, so it'll be close with him. Maybe Levi McIntyre, Dylan Young, Cody Lamas, and Ryan Acosta. But, there's a lot of scenarios here that we have to try and calculate in. Carson Gum finished in 27th. So it wasn't exactly the best of runs for him here today. Michael Norman was 19th. Okay run. But Levi McIntyre finished off the lead lap, and Carter Friesen finished out of the race. So to be perfectly honest with you, I don't have a clue who is where as far as the top 8 in the points right now. Ryan Brommer, remember we saw him up inside the top 10. He tried that fuel strategy. It did not work. He'll finish in 29th. So I almost wonder if he could be in a must-win situation heading into next week, and other drivers that couldn't make it on fuel too, like Kyle Matthews, Keith Batson, Ryan Butcher, Jose Mills, Charles Sanford, Jessica Shelton. They all finished towards the rear of the field. Benjamin Miles finished out of the race. That hard hit into the concrete wall. 37th, Jesse Turner. 38th, 39th, but Jack Mitchell. And Carter Friesen, who came into this one with a 19-point gap between himself and 8th in the standings. A DNF of dead last. And a number of drivers that were behind him in points, like Dylan Young, Cody Lamas, Zach Rogers, Ryan Acosta had pretty decent runs here today, so we'll see if this puts him in the danger zone or not. But, like I said, last season Lime Rock definitely played a factor into our next elimination race, and this season was no different. Marcus Sacchi, 4th rookie to go to victory lane this season, yet another first-time winner here in the Duracell Cup Series as well, and if I remember correctly, I might be wrong. I'd have to go back and look through the statistics, but I believe when Diego Yepes took the checkered flag here 1 year ago, that was his first career Duracell Cup Series win. So lightning striking twice here at Lime Rock Raceway. But hope you guys enjoyed today's race here from Lime Rock. If you did, be sure to give us a like, subscribe, become part of the crew today. We have shown you full finish results. These are your updated playoff points as well as the rest of your point standings heading into next week. Next week, we whittle the field down from 12 to our Elite 8 as we head to Arizona Speedway. It's our second elimination race, and it will set us up for who is going to be on the road to the Final Four at Homestead Miami Speedway. You're not going to want to miss it. Yet another racetrack with great racing, a 1.5-mile track, and usually could be a fuel strategy race there as well. And we saw what a fuel strategy race could do here today. But until then, I've been Seth Cole. You've been watching a production of the NNSCRA Offline Racing at its best. We'll see you guys next week at Arizona.